Hey everybody, Phil Easy here, back in the garden, doing another garden side chat. This one's going to be super quick. I thought I would keep on the theme of planting seedlings. Everybody's thinking about that right now. I wanted to do a quick little video chat on seedling trays. Trays, yeah, I use seedling trays. I have for years now. I just want to talk about why I use them and some of the different things I was thinking about when I was at my local greenhouse just the other day. So thanks for checking me out. Don't forget to hit the subscribe button, the notification bell. It really helps me out. If you like what you see here, help me out by hitting that thumbs up. So by hitting that thumbs up, my video will get shown to more and more people. So thanks for that. Let's get started. First thing when it comes to trays that I learned is invest in the heavier duty plastic for your base tray. So you're going to have a base tray. This is going to be what all the inserts, that'll be all these other ones, hopefully these come out showing well, but all the inserts fit into the tray itself. This you end up filling with water. It absorbs through bottom watering into the actual plants. So the tray itself can get quite heavy with wet soil and plant material. And this can end up failing and breaking, especially with time, light, etc. So you'll see there's a couple versions. Go for the one, no holes in the bottom, solid tray, your extra thick one. And that'll just be able to be used year after year after year. So start with a really good base, really thick base is my first recommendation. So the next thing that you'll notice when you go, if you go to the store to get some of these, is you have a whole bunch of different options for sizes. As you can see, we've got all sorts of things happening here. And a lot of it will have to do with how many cells or holes or spaces plants you want to plant. So when you're thinking about, do I want to get one that's 50, like the one I have here, a 5 by 10? Or am I looking for one that's more going to be a whole bunch of them, 100 or more or less? Depends on what you're growing as that seedling and how big that seedling's going to get. That'll influence what size trays you want. I ended up getting a whole bunch of different trays because I always like to experiment a little bit. One of the things that you may be wondering about is, what is he going to be using this tray for with all of these little ones? Well, believe it or not, last year I tried planting some peas a little bit later in the season because I didn't have the best crop, so I started experimenting with planting seed in trays and then transplanting those into the garden. And what I found is that I was able to do it very successfully with a high germination rate in the trays, and the transplant rate was 100%. Everything went over and took well. So this year I'm going to do my peas, and I'm going to start them slightly early in a tray. I'll do a video on that and take you through that process. The next size down is the 50 cell tray. This one for me is going to be, it's also fairly deep, so you can look for how deep they go. Less deep means that you're not going to, the plant's roots will fill this up faster and it won't last as long. You'll have to transplant up sooner. So think about that when you're thinking about the size or the amount of soil that's going to be in here will influence how long it will take for you to need to pot up to the next size if you're doing that. But this is a 50 cell tray, and then you get into some of the more classic ones that you might see at some of your greenhouses. These tend to be quite flimsy and they only really last me one season, sometimes two. But they'll fit nicely into that solid tray into groups, and you'll be able to do your transplants. I'll probably end up doing tomatoes and peppers in here. Those seem like the right size for that. And then you can go even larger plant if you want to not transplant up as much. So you have all these different options for sizes. Again, think about what you're growing. Think about the seedlings, how many of them you're putting in, how many times you may or may not need to transplant them up before you put them into your garden. All of that will influence which trays you get. The really good news is The trays are very inexpensive. We're talking $1 or two, $1 or $2. There's not many things anymore out there that you can get that inexpensive. So you might want to just get a few of each or one of each so you have options. That's what I did this year. The other thing I really like about the trays is not only are they inexpensive, they keep things organized. You can label them, all that is great, but these trays have holes in the bottom. Don't know how well that's showing up. Probably show up a lot better on that one. But why the holes on the bottom is great is because of that solid tray that we use for the bottom layer, the base tray. We can fill that up with an inch or so of water and then place your tray into here, your top tray, and then the water is going to soak up through the bottom of your second tray here, and so you'll end up watering all your plants from the bottom. And why that's really, really good is that helps encourage root growth, so the roots are going to reach down towards and into the bottom of these cells, but it's also going to decrease the amount of overwatering that we do and water on the surface, which can cause all sorts of issues with the seeds and germinating them, and changing the depth at which the seeds are sitting if you're watering from the top. You can also end up with issues of rot and dampening off and not good things. So I've really consistently gone to using these trays now with the bottom watering techniques for all of my seedlings. So that's just one of the tips I'd give you that I wish I had known a heck of a lot earlier in my growing careers. I tried all the different things from, reusing yogurt containers to the peat pellets to cups to just reusing what I could find. You name it. I've tried many, many, many options, and when it comes down to it, this is by far so simple, so easy, efficient, and inexpensive that it's my number one recommendation when it comes to growing those seedlings. The last thing that I'm going to talk about when it comes to the trays is going to be top part of the tray. Now this you don't need to get. It's not necessary for seed starting. I tend to get it because I also do cloning. You can check out some videos above. You click on the link. I've done some cloning videos, and keeping a humid, moist environment is really important for that. But I will also do this. I did it with my onions that I planted already. I'll use it to germinate the seeds. It just creates a little bit more warmth and humidity, and then I will end up taking the tray cover off right away so we don't end up introducing any of the problems that can come with too much moisture. This is again an inexpensive thing. The differences are going to be how high the trays are. So think about that. Most of your seedlings, you don't need to have a super tall tray because you're not going to keep growing them in here. So this is about as tall as I'd get. This happens to have some venting. That's one of the newer things I've seen on them. It hit and miss for me, not necessary, because again, these covers are only going to be staying as long as it takes for those seeds to sprout and to show up on the surface to see that green. But it is a nice complement to your trays. All of it works together, fits well, is inexpensive, and I've found that for me it's just really made the difference in getting consistently germinating my seeds and having my seedlings up and ready to go for my garden when it's up and ready to go, all depending on Mother Earth. But like I said, I just want to do a super quick video there on seed trays, what to think about and consider if you want to go down that path. Thanks for checking me out. Please hit that subscribe bell, notification button, and smash that thumbs up. Please hit that if you like this. That'll help this video get shown to more and more people. Thanks again for checking this out. Have a great day, and we will talk to you soon. Take care. Bye. Hey, Gardenside Dexter. How are you? You have a nice walk, buddy? Yeah?